Welcome to another educational bit from Lizard Learning and Hot Rock Tutoring. Now this maths bit, addition of decimals. Decimals. What is decimal about? Decimals, deci. Now originally deci came from the Latin word decimus, meaning tenth. If we look at these two photographs here, they are vastly different in the destruction that has been dealt upon human structures. In the top photograph you can see that that town, that street, that suburb there has been completely obliterated, kaput, done, gone, 100% destroyed, nothing to live in, gone. The second photograph at the bottom there is what we call a house that has been decimated. In other words, deci means a tenth. About a tenth of that house has been destroyed. That was the original meaning of the word decimate, to be decimated. But the meaning has changed over the years to mean, well, when something's decimated, it's just completely gone. But originally it did not mean that, and it shouldn't mean that now, because deci means tenth. So when you're talking about something that's been decimated, you should be talking about something that has a tenth of it being damaged or unusable. Place value, as we said before, place value with decimals or addition of any numbers is the key. You don't have the place value, you don't know about place value, you don't know about hundreds, tens, ones, tenths, hundreds and thousandths and what order they're in, and you can't write those down on your piece of in your maths books when you're doing these problems, then you've got no hope of adding up decimals. You must know the houses, the places, hundreds, tens, ones, decimal place, because then we get into fractions. Decimals are fractions, just like vulgar fractions or common fractions as we call them. They are fractions, but they are fractions, as we talked about before, deci, they are fractions of tenths, taking a tenth of something. So let us look at hundreds and place value. Each house reduces by a tenth. So if we got hundreds and then we divide by 10, we get tens. If we divide 10 by 10, a tenth of 10 gives you 1. Then we get to the decimal point. If we take a 1 and divide it in by 10 in our decimal system, it's all to do with tenths. Groups of 10, all to do with groups of 10, that's our decimal system. We take 1/10 of 1 and we get a tenth. So there's your tenths column. If we take one of those tenths and divide that into 10, you'll get 100 of them. So it'll be divided into hundredths. Then if you take 100th of something and take each one of those hundredths and divide it into 10, you get thousandths, and so on and so on. Okay. So really, when we're you could probably set out your houses and just say, okay, we've got our hundreds house, our tens house, our units house, decimal point. Then we go, decimal point means we're going into the fractions. So then we've got our tenths, then we've got our hundredths, and then we have our thousands, and on it goes. Right, let's have a look down at the bottom here, and we've got 6 and 23 hundredths. That's a common fraction. It's in hundredths, so it's in, we can convert that into decimals easily. Alright, 6 ones, that's 6 ones, and we have 23 hundredths. When you're dealing with these fractions, look at the denominator. It says hundredths. So straight away we know we are dealing with the hundredths house. It says so. 23 watts. Well, 23 hundredths. So if it's 23 hundredths, you'll put the 3 in the hundredths house. Remember, you can only have one digit in each house. You can't put 23 in the hundredths house. You put the 3 in the hundredths house, and you must go to the house above it, the tenths house. So you have got your 23 hundredths. The last digit must be in the house that you are asked to put it in, the hundredths house, 6 and 23 hundredths. So, and you say it the same way, 6 and 23 hundredths. You can, some people do write 6 decimal 2 3, but when you look at these, really mathematically correct, looking at 6 decimal 2 3, you would say that as 6 and, the decimal point being and, because it's a fraction, and 6 and 23 watts, 23 hundredths. Just beautiful. Isn't maths terrific? Just, it fits in. See, that's the thing. Don't make stuff up. Everything's there. Everything's got a reason to be where it is. And I find a lot of students have got these, they missed something, a bee flew into the room and they were distracted for that vital moment when they were first learning about this. They came back and they thought, okay, teacher's looking at me, I better make something up and start writing, and they get it wrong. Maths has to make sense. Maths makes sense, believe it or not. And it's full of instructions. It just tells you what to do. 6 and 23 hundredths says 6 units, then we hit the fractions. There's the fractions, decimal point, then the fractions start. 23 hundredths. Rightio. Next one says 23 decimal 234. Well, that says it's 23. In other words, 2 tens, 3 ones, 23. You've got the decimal point already there for you, and then you just put them in. 2, 3, 4. So to say that as a fraction, you would say 23 and 234 thousandths. Right, last digit tells you what to say. 2 and 3 tenths. Alright, so we've got 2 ones and 3 tenths. There's the tenths, 3 tenths. Fantastic, we're fine, good, all done. 98%. Ahaha. 98%. Well, what is 98%? We've done a lesson on this. 98% means 98 per 100. 98 per 100. That's percent. That's what percent means. Per 100. 98 out of 100 per 100. So it's 98 hundredths. Go to the column with the hundredths column. There it is. The 8's going to go there because it has to go there in the hundredths column. 9 does not go next to it. It goes into the house above it. 98 hundredths. Now, just to make sure that decimal point doesn't get lost, we put a 0 there, so we can easily see, oh yeah, no units, no ones, 0 decimal 98, or 98 what? Hundredths. If it's out of 100, you can call it a percent. Anything out of 100 is a percent per 100. See, it's all fitting in already. 98%. Okay, next one is 19. Right, this is this one here, 19 and 4 hundredths. 19 and 4 hundredths. Okay, so we've got 4 hundredths. Let's go to the column. Must put it in the hundredths column because it tells us to. It tells us to. Grabs you around the throat and says, this is hundredths, right? Hundredths. You understand? Put it in the hundredths column. Put the last digit in the hundredths column. It's hundredths. And we've done that because I'm a good boy. 4 goes into the hundredths column. How many tenths do we have? You're probably asking yourselves. Well, we don't have any because it doesn't say anything. It's just got 4 hundredths. So we put the placeholder in there. must have a placeholder. It's got no tenths. Okay, very nice. Let's move on. When we're doing these problems, we don't have the houses there. What I usually do is I go and have a look at what we've got to do. I'll read it first, of course. You always read these things first. Find the sum. Right, and we know we've got to add up. Find the sum. Sum means to add. Of these, 8 and 23 hundredths, 10 decimal 605, or 10 and 605 thousandths. Remember that you get your tenths. Next house is you can't see this, but believe me, that's a hundredths house. The 5 is the thousandths house. Anyway, I'm going to rub that out because I'm embarrassed by it. That little scribble, look at it. Looks horrible. We'll sort that out in a minute. Righto. 79 and 3 hundredths, 8% and 7 3/10. What sometimes I tell students to do is pick the number there that's got the most digits in it, covers the most ground. That'll be 10. Start with that one. 10 decimal 605. I'll use that one, so cross it out. Then we have our position for our decimal place, so we know now that we have the ones there, we have the tens there, decimal point is and, we have the tenths there, hundredths there, thousands there. There's our place value taken care of. Okay, let's find the sum. Let's put in 8 and 23 hundredths. 8 goes in the units house, straight under the units house. Then the decimal point straight under the decimal point. And what have we got? 23 hundredths. Tenths, hundredths. We've got 23 hundredths. We know that we've got the tenths, the ones. This is the tenths house out of the decimal point. This is the hundredths house. This is the thousandths house. We know that because we've studied it. Practice if you don't. Right, we've got that one. 79 and 3 hundredths. Okay, 79, that's 79. 7 tens, 9 units. And it says 3 hundredths. So we go to the hundredths column. There's the hundredths column right there. There are no tenths. It's 3 hundredths. Good, we've done that. 8%. Quickly, refresher, 8%. Percent means per 100. So it's 8 out of 100. That's 8%. 8 hundredths goes in the hundredths house. Let's put the decimal point in. There's no tenths. There's 8 hundredths stuck there in the hundredths house. We put a 0 placeholder here because there are no units, so we make sure we can see that decimal point. Next, 7 and 3/10. Beautiful. 7 and tenths house is there. 3/10. Okie dokie. Now, I should find a straight line. I'm going to try and draw one myself. Not bad, not bad. I'm running out of room here. Double line to show that I'm finishing. Now, this is what we do. I'm going to do a little bit of rubbing out again. I'll get rid of this bits and pieces up here. Just to tidy it up a bit. Alright. What I am going to do is make sure, and this is a good idea, so you don't mess things up, is we've got, in the top one, we've got 10 decimal 605, or 10 and 605 thousandths. We go right to the thousandths column. So, put in the thousandths or any place that hasn't got a digit in it, put placeholders in. So I'm putting thousandths in there. There are no thousandths there. Here there are no thousandths. And here there are no hundredths or thousandths. Thousandths. Make sure you put what you're doing, plus sign, and we add up. 0, 0, 0, 5. 8 and 3 11 plus 3 is 14. Put the 4 down there. I'll put that up there. 3 and 2 are 5. 6 or 11 plus 1 makes 12. Put the 1 up there, or I can put it at the bottom, doesn't matter. 7 and 9 is 16. 6 and 8 are 14, 24. Plus that 1 makes 25. Carry the 2 up there. 2 1 to 2 and 1 and 3, and 7 makes 10. Okay. And the answer is, well, hopefully it's correct. Now underneath that I would write answer. You can abbreviate that, answer equals, and I would put it in a sentence. I would say the sum, in the words of the question, I wanted the sum is 105 and 245 thousandths. Okay, all set out. You know what it's asked, the question has asked you, you've shown the working, and you've got the answer in the words of what you were asked to find. Teacher looks at that and says, fantastic. I'm going to give this person, let's see, it might be 3 marks they give for each of these. It might be 1 mark for setting out, tick. 1 mark for calculations, and 1 mark for giving the correct answer in a sentence. That's what I would do. This person would have got 3 out of 3. That's me. How good am I? Okay, anyway, I do enjoy maths. You may be able to tell. It makes sense. I hope you get something out of this last video, and if you've got any questions, let us at Lizard Learning know. Thank you very much for taking all this fantastic time to pay attention to my little lesson. Bye bye.